Okay, sorry about that. I can't see chat right now, so give me a moment. But yeah, love it when my computer crashes. So we're just gonna pretend that everything I just did in that stream didn't happen, because it effectively didn't. So let's get back to where we were, but give me a moment. I want to Google something about the cameras. I want my winter car camera locations. Speed camera. 3 speed cameras. One is located along the highway between the location main drop and LOP. The others are located between the turnoff the player's house and the dump turnoff, one for each lane. The fine is preventable if you don't have license plates, though this is not implemented yet. Really? Apparently, that's neat. Apparently, this limit is 70 for commercial. Does the taxi count as a commercial vehicle? Fair enough. It is wild how many people tried to make mod loaders for my winter car before my winter car launched, or before the you know what I'm talking about. Also, I'm amazed that nobody's made a mod that disables the speed cameras yet. That shouldn't even be that hard. I'm just glancing to see if they exist. They don't. But yeah, no. Sorry about that. My computer did crash. So day is getting restarted. I love it when that happens. Probably because I've got a memory overclock that is just barely, maybe a little bit too fast. I could probably make it stable by adding a little bit more voltage, or honestly any number of things. Did he spawn this time? Yes! Okay. We're still good. We're so back. It's not a reliable spawn. Okay. And that's ready. Okay. Let's go sell some liquor. Even if you don't know her. Sorry, that was terrible. I'm gonna tweak the backpack mod a little bit here. I'm gonna say I can hold 60 items. It didn't immediately take, fair enough. Is there an apply button? Okay, well. Ah, fuck me. Didn't mean to do that. Press F instead of E. We're not gonna talk about it. Watch this be the one time he doesn't spawn. So this should work out to 170 marks a bottle times 56 bottles because he drinks the first one for free. He always has. I wish that the collider for this wasn't a circle. Because it is. It's just a circle here. I could show you guys, but those ones are counted. Cool, 10 grand. Hell yeah. Excuse me. I think that's all of them. Cool. Now let's go pump some poop wells. Hopefully this time with a little bit less crashing, hey? Also, I've changed my mind on the order that I want to do these in. I'm going to start at the end and then do them on my way back so that I'm driving less distance with a full truck. I think it says a lot that I'm shivering hard in a coverall. Give that a minute. I'm literally only here because it's warm. Don't worry about me, bud. I don't think there's actual glass in this window. No, there isn't. There is no glass in this window. Or this one. So that raw stank just comes straight in, yeah? You, sir, have a nose of a god or something like that. I don't know. All right. Now let's do this. We're gonna go right to the end of it, and then we're gonna drive back. I'm not gonna take the highway this time because it actually is just a terrible idea. You know, honestly, this will probably save me fuel as well, because realistically, the farther I'm having to travel with a full tank, the less fuel I'm going to use. There we go. I wonder how much better the Gifu would work if you swapped it to have all-wheel drive. Ain't that a thought, huh? One of these days, and it's never happened to me yet, but one of these days I'm gonna go down the hill, and I'm gonna just straight up crash into the guardrail on that bridge and die. Because I take that way too fast. Good to know it works still. Not a ton of warning, but warning. Okay, first things first. Low range. This guy has a very annoying driveway. How close are we? Oh, we need to go all the way back there. Okay. Yeah, that's reasonable. And back it up just a smidgen more while turning left, but neutral. You know the Gifu tweaks mods, the Gifu tweaks and Gifu control mods, they probably would work fine. I don't think there's any changes to the Gifu that would change that right now. Huh. Maybe I should try that. She's sucking. Oh boy, she's sucking. And blowing. Hello, Mr. Man. He's a ginger. And only a ginger can call another ginger ginger. His cigarette is not lit. Do with that information what you will. Oh shit, thank you for reminding me. Ooh. Gifu has surprisingly good stereo. I do agree. The problem with any kind of thing like that is, as soon as you allow someone to transmit, you become, to some degree, responsible for what you transmit. I just wouldn't want to have to deal with the liability of putting that into this game. Let me know if you figure out what game this is from. It is not indeed Super Tux Kart, unfortunately. Turn down a little bit. Eventually, one of the tracks will play, and it'll click, and you're like, oh my god. Trust. Well, that's not where I was expecting to find him. I suspect that he may have been made invincible for the moment. Too close, but good. Lined up. Perfect. But yeah, so, clues, all the music is going to be from the same game. Not necessarily played in the correct order. You will have heard every one of these tracks as you played through the game. You will have heard every track going through the game. You know what you could do? You know what you could do? The mod's called Toby Radio. You could legitimately just listen to Truckers FM, which is a radio station for truckers in American and Euro Truck Simulator games. Yeah, it also means you don't have to click on the import music file every time, every button. And it works with more than just OGG files. It's playing MP3s. Good lord. The magic of it all. This one might give it away. Honestly, Doom is not a terrible guess. But no, it is not Doom. It's not any of the iterations of Doom either. But it's not a terrible guess. Although this one is kind of making me want to put the the music from Need for Speed 2 Special Edition in. That's not a hint, it's just similar. In terms of, like, the music pick, I mean. It's notable that every single one of these tracks was made for the game that they are from. They're not found in any other game. Wrong period. You're off by about 20 years. A little bit less than. Does it just stop playing, or is it just gone quiet? This is a quiet song. That's just a quiet song. If it played the very first song on the soundtrack, you would know within seconds what song it is. That was short. Okay. Pull forward and then pump. Got it. Oh, okay.
Ja vaihda turvovaihteelle. Exotic nimenainen tiivitse parantaa suorituskykyäsi huikeasti. Saatavilla kaikista hyvin varustelluista kaupoista.
Has this given it away yet? Fair enough. The answer is Cyberpunk 2077. Which, in fairness, I think it would actually run on your machine, as if I recall what... I think you told me the specs. No, that was Bren that told me the specs. Fair enough. Yeah, it's literally Cyberpunk. They you can get the entire soundtrack and art books and all kinds of stuff as a DLC for the game. A Quadro K5200. Isn't that like a fairly old GPU? Like, huh? Office Way special. You know what? That's all you need. As long as the CPU is decent and you can get your hands on like a second-hand graphics card, you're golden. Exactly. Exactly. Honestly, old Quadros are so good, because people don't think to look for them on eBay if you're looking for used stuff. Like, the only people that care are people looking for Quadros, and people that know you can game on a Quadro. Yeah, and honestly, yeah. If you can get your hands on a Quadro, especially more recent ones, fuck yeah. Especially the ones that have a lot of video RAM. 8 gigabytes, honestly, is not enough anymore. And I say that it's on with an 8 gigabyte 3070. I have been keeping my eye out, hoping that I will eventually, maybe, possibly, manage to get my hands on a Quadro, or I don't know, 50 something maybe. I don't know. Honestly, ideally I'd go AMD. AMD is just better, but how many cores does your Xeon have? Oh, this is the song that I thought would give it away. This is the first one in the series, or in the soundtrack. Hell yeah, that's actually a decent CPU then. Yeah. Fun fact, if you go back to the Pentium 4, the CPUs, the motherboards for the CPUs, they were, you know, different chipsets and everything, but they were socket physically compatible, not electrically. But you could buy a little, like, piece of plastic with some traces on it that you can put into the socket. Hang on. You could buy a piece of plastic with traces on it that you can stick into your CPU socket, which was sketch as hell, by the way, but you could do it. And it would let you run Xeon CPUs in your consumer desktop motherboard. And it just moved like 3 pins. It was wild. So your, you know, Pentium 4 motherboard, you know, it's a 1-core, 2-thread. You could stick a quad-core in it. I think the same thing worked for the Core 2 quads, and I think you could put like an 8-core in there, if you could find one. Wait, is he still open? Oh my god. Don't mind if I do. Fuck! He closed as I pulled up. It must be... Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I'm gonna leave the brakes off. It's gonna make no difference, but I'm gonna do it. I was playing with the Mac Pro 1 a couple years ago with dual Xeons, was trying to get modern Linux running on it for fun, went to the version of Debian 12-year-old Macs. You may not have needed that. Ran most things, seem to struggle with the dual ZPUs hyperthreading. Yeah, so as soon as you have more than one CPU in your system, there is a lot of issues with coherency between the cores. That doesn't mean you can't do it, it just means it's really designed for specific workloads. Now, to be fair, if you had 2 projects that each could use 4 cores or whatever, however many cores per CPU there was, then that's like the perfect setup. It is cold! Car do not want to run. Do we got any packages of the PSK? No, we got a phone bill. Fair enough. Yeah. Such is the nature of old Macs, I've found. At a certain point, the graphic... Because everyone just stops using them after a certain point, which makes sense. They're old Macs. But, like, they just end up in a situation where the driver just doesn't work anymore, and it's unfortunate. The 1.1 doesn't support UEFI. Later Mac Pros are meant to make good... Yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of them are, but there is a point... There's a cutoff at which point they stop being good machines for just modern use. And I say that as somebody who actually does have a... I have a Power Mac G3 and a PowerBook G4. They're decent machines for the era. Not amazing today, though. Yeah. I'm guessing something Firewire? "50 seconds is just perfect for these sausages." Did you know you can cook the sausages? Because a lot of people don't. Found an old promo tape with pre-release stuff of Sonic 2 on it, and I want to back it up in case there's anything cool on there. Hell yeah. I personally, and I've made a point of not sharing because they'd be very upset at me, my aunt worked on Halo 3, and I have a CD that contains the entire CD, 700 megabytes, contains a 20-second video that fills the entire CD. It is a cutscene from Halo 3, I believe ODST specifically, that never made it into the final game. My aunt would kill me if I shared it, but it is cool to have. Alright, got nothing but firewood jobs. And that still hasn't refreshed. Hopefully it will tonight, though.
Ai, 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 ai.
Damn, the alarm and I'm fully rested. And these guys didn't wake me the fuck up. It's a miracle. It is negative 43, so we need the coveralls. We haven't missed any calls. Ooh, newspaper's gone. Cool. We can go to the PSK. We can order more parts. And maybe pick up some parts, depending. I'm gonna actually go over here and check the mail before I go, because I don't know what the state of, yeah. No, okay. The only game fame in my family is my uncle worked on the trains sim game like 20 years ago. Cool. My aunt I was going to say your name, but I've decided not to. My aunt has worked on a lot of Disney and Pixar films in the early 2000s that you've probably seen. No, she is in firmly in the how do I put this? She got into the industry just after Silicon Graphics got out. Early enough that she could have worked on the movie Ants, but not Toy Story. Not saying she did or didn't. I'm just saying, technically, that era. But no, that the MacBook that I have, the PowerBook G4, is actually the one that she used for the for a bunch of stuff, including, I believe, that Halo 3 bit. You know what? I'm with you there. Silicon Graphics was just awesome shit. I don't need any of that. I don't need any of that. I don't need any of that. I basically... What did I need? I came here for packages and that. I don't need chips. I don't need any of these things. Buy a fire extinguisher. Don't need beer. Don't need sausages. Don't need pizza. Don't need macaroons. The chips at the parents' house are there because I don't want to bother with worrying about expired sausage. I'll buy a carrot and milk, why not? Nothing? Okay. There's a Linux-based version of IRX that's pretty fun to play with in a VM. Hell yeah. Fuel is so cheap right now that it's making me sad that I don't need fuel. Like, if I put 100 marks in there, I won't get all of my money out. I'll get like 40 marks. I can see just enough of the road to navigate safely. You can tell when the road's a little bit extra slippery. Because I go into that guy's yard. Oh, fuck you, game. Luckily, that's not kept across saves, but it does mean I need to save my game now. Broke my windshield by closing by opening the door too hard, even. Not even closing. Honestly, I didn't even know you could break the windshield in the sorbet. I've done so many things that didn't. Alright, so let's start with the juice. Oh, Steve, have you tried the Better FPS mod? One of these days, he's gonna implement, you know, peeing in the player's apartment, and I'm gonna be very sad because I will no longer be able to be an animal and just pee everywhere. Which I chose not to in the summer car initially, but you know, sometimes you just got that mood, you know. Where I've the rest of them set to 10. Damn. Okay. Bring it down to 15 because it is my bedroom. Save some money on the bill. All right. Let's see. 14-inch. You know what? I do need another set of rims. Let's see. I want it in English. Let's go anything less than 400? Yeah, 400. This game, very big benefit if you know how to use a numpad.
Oli joskus semmonen, josta yleksi sitä sanottiin, kun ne oli semmonen ikkuna semmonen, onko nää jo vaihtunut talvirenkaat, kun se on lunta satanut aika paljon.
The subtitles feel incomplete, call me crazy.
Minä laitan tulemaan. Joo, ei.
Thank you. Next. That one. You know what's terrible? Is I don't know if I dialed the wrong number or if they're just not picking up. It doesn't make a distinction. Alright, next. I'm buying so much crap. I have a pile of bumpers that's so tall. Okay. 094722909. Finally, thank you. Alright, and next, this one. 09444-876. Seriously, knowing how to... Hell yeah. I enjoy head pats. Hell yeah. It's so useful knowing how to use a numpad in this game. Seriously. Because if you go too slow, it won't work.
Tunnen joo kyllä minä niin kuka sinne ja niin joo pitipä niin
I just wish that I could hang up before they finish speaking.
joo minä
Be amazing. Oh, that was a quick one. Good. And then the next one. Oh, I messed up. I'm buying anything under 400. 010123721. Not a lot of... I was about to say not a lot of super cheap things this time, but honestly, there actually kind of is. I will make an exception for the 420 mark sale here, because it's 420 marks. That's all that really matters. It's 420. I can remember the days of landline telephones. It was the 90s. Cell phones existed, but unless you were a big businessman and had $8,000 in your pocket for a cell phone and $300 a month to pay for it, you didn't have one. It's 1999, baby, and a couple of people in this game actually do have cell phones. Believe it or not, which is, I agree, unexpected, but to be fair, he's also in charge of running the definitely not Nokia packing plant, so... Probably a business line. Why does it sound like he's doing inappropriate stuff on the other end of that phone line? I'm just putting it out there. Well, I mean, summer car was 95. Winter car is 99. And you're not wrong. And there was a mod that added like a cell phone you could buy. But at this point, I would love the option to buy a cell phone. Closest we can do is the taxi right now has a car phone, which you're allowed to use for outgoing calls if you want to. But you're, I suspect, being charged a hefty premium on that. God, I wish I could skip these calls. Thank fuck it's over. Okay, next, this one. 071394442. Parents had a car phone and a conversion van, one of those vans with a wooden paneling inside, black and white TV, and a rear seat that folded like a bed. Haha, ha ha ha, yes. I've never been in a car that had a car phone. I did, however, get to ride around for many years in the back of a hatchback that had backwards-facing seats in the trunk, and that was a hell of a lot of fun. That was like the best place to sit. The parents tried it at various points, and they just got car sick. But us kids, man, we just fucking rocked it. It was so good. There was space to recline in that trunk. Unless there was groceries, in which case you were buried in groceries. But I mean, you know. With the rims, 071357003. And I think that the next one after this will be our last purchase. Around that time, my mom also had a portable black and white TV, but that never made it in the car, and that's always made me a bit sad thinking back on it, because can you imagine? That would have been amazing. 0926460. Yo. Thank God that was a fast one. Okay, and that's all of them for now. I feel like he needs to swap out some of the ambient sounds. Nothing. I need to save and reload the game because I closed the door too hard, by which I mean I opened the door and kind of walked into it and it smashed my windshield, so I'm gonna save and reload the game real quick, and that's gonna involve a full restart because otherwise the gas pumps will stop working because of a mod, so yeah. I'm gonna quickly restart the game. Do do do. Do do. Yams. I don't know why I just said yams, I just felt like it. So close. Let's go buy more juice. I am so glad that he didn't make it so that when you were clicking while you're doing this, the icon in the middle there, the hand, didn't like curl its fingers. Oh my god. Can you imagine? Oh my god, it'd just be purely visual, but god damn, it would just make it so much worse. Okay, but consider this. That's not a thing that's unique to them. We did that too. And our parents were just as confused. It's not a new thing that people will buy. Like, if you release something and it gets even moderately popular, there will, in general, be a resurgence in popularity between 20 and 30 years later on, assuming that it became unpopular at any intervening point. Not always, but often enough that it's a notable pattern. Wait. No way. Either I've bought the maximum number of juice or it isn't insta-restock anymore. Oh, that's concerning. I mean, old music and video games is a prime example of that, but it isn't exactly what we're talking about, though. I mean, like, but like, in general, it's just a notable thing. Like, pet rocks were a thing that were popular in the 70s and then again in the 90s. Names do the same thing, actually. Names that you think of as old person names, right? Like, let's say Muriel. Muriel is going to be popular with your children. Same goes for old computers. They haven't been around long enough to really dig into it yet, in terms of, like, the cycle. But, like... Hello. Oh, so that's what it's shaped like. But, like, it's already happening. People are going and, like, you can buy a brand new Intel 8088 computer right now. Fully remanufactured brand new motherboard. With a modern CPU-ish, like a modern remake of an 8088, if not an original one. Because those things are buggers, they do not die. And actually, they're still actually being manufactured for, like, clocks and stuff, wildly enough. Oh, absolutely. And I'm like, what I'm saying, though, is that it's cyclical. It's weirdly cyclical. Your kids are going to love different names for their children than you did for them. And it's going to be the names that you considered old people names. Because they were. Now they're just, but by the time your kids are around. Yeah. Waiting for some company to cash in on CRT nostalgia and start making new tubes. Okay, so problem with that is there actually has been attempts. There has been work done to try and make new tubes. The problem is that even back in the day, they never actually got it fully automated, and the steps are poorly documented. Most of the knowledge that went into making a CRT was just in the heads of the people making them. Which means that despite there being multiple attempts to revive the CRT, there's been very few actual successes, and none of them are automatable enough to make it a viable thing to do to make money. Like, there was an actual instance back in the day, actually, of a company buying a CRT factory, a factory that made CRTs, moving everything down to, like, not quite the bricks, but everything inside, and reassembling it as was inside of a new building, and they couldn't do it. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, but I'm talking about, like, displays that would actually be worth using today. Not the cheap Chinese ones. Or the ones used in airlines, because those things are expensive. A lot of older airplanes, you can't just replace the CRT with an LCD. Unfortunately. A lot of older airplanes, yeah. But, like, in general, making large, high-quality CRTs is just a thing that isn't really doable at the moment. Like, I'm sure if someone put their head to it and, you know, worked on it for a couple of years, they could do it, but is there enough of a market to justify that, right? I would argue there might be soon. I think that the best thing you could do is make a new one that is of reasonably high quality, such that you can sell a lot of them and people won't be upset or disappointed. How realistic is that? Up to the interpretation of the viewer, but I would love to see it. Exactly. Is it worth it doing that? Now, if they can figure out how to do it for cheap by some description and not have it just be a really crap CRT, I'm sure like it wouldn't just be a nostalgia thing. There would be all kinds of companies and people that would be buying them up for who knows what. They're very versatile in what you can display on them. Right? And honestly, there's a lot of games, like this game here, My Summer Car, that would actually just be fantastic to play. They would be amazing to play on a CRT. Control is also a game that is a fantastic game to play on a CRT. Now, that being said, I think there is a market for CRT monitors marketed at gamers. Make a widescreen, high resolution, high refresh rate CRT monitor. People will buy it. The debate is, will enough people buy it? And, you know, that's where it all falls apart. Like, if you look at photos of, I believe it was John Carmack when they were working on Doom. I think it was Doom. I might be wrong. One of them, he had a monitor on his desk. It was a widescreen monitor. It was a CRT, but it was widescreen, like ultra wide. Far more recently, Linus from Linus Tech Tips actually got his hands on one of those. And it's a really cool product. It's like an ultra-wide CRT monitor that actually has 2 electron guns, I think. Might be 3, in the back. All of them projecting onto the same display. Now, I don't think we need ultra-wide CRTs. Feels a bit excessive. And we would honestly need to replace the lead in the glass with something else, because lead bad. But just a 1080p or a 4K even. And to be something a lot of people don't realize is CRT monitors don't have a resolution per se. Like there is a maximum level of detail they can produce, but it's not really resolution. Modern displays have a resolution, but a CRT will just blend between them. If you have more pixels to display than phosphors to project onto. So if you could make the phosphors smaller, which is one thing we're really good at doing. Well then. Not what I was expecting to run into just then. Yeah, exactly. Because they are made from leaded glass. Because the inside of the tube is at a vacuum at all times. and has to be incredibly thick and heavy in order to contain that. So you either have to figure out a material you can replace the glass with reasonably, cheaply, ideally, or something you can replace lead in the glass with. You know what? I was debating getting fuel, but I don't need fuel. I've still got 3/4 of a tank. It's really well priced right now, but I don't think I'm going to get my money's worth. Is it? Honestly, I suspect that, as with the blue van before it, we're going to lose access to it at the beginning of the game. One day we're going to load up the game and it'll just be gone. Of course, before that happens, they're gonna have to have more that you can do in town, because right now that would just strand you in town with really no way forward. You wouldn't be able to get to work. You wouldn't be able to do most things. That's true. That is true. He did. You're right. He did say the players sold the Satsuma to buy this, which honestly was a mistake. I think the Satsuma is a better vehicle, but. Yes, but it was my piece of shit. Oh, I'm in tool mode. I don't know if there's more than one. What did I do to the music? Have you heard of Cyberpunk 2077? Yeah, basically, I put the soundtrack from Cyberpunk into Dolby Radio. Why? Because despite being entirely 2 decades too new, I can listen to it on stream. They don't copyright claim their music, as far as I'm aware. I mean, legally that's not true. Technically, you're right. But at that point, I can't play it through the radio, and I want to play. I'm gonna listen to it through the radio. So. Really? Huh. Neat. You wonder how web radio is handled on stream? I don't know. Legally, though, legally listening to music without holding the license for said music is against the rules. Technically, Twitch has made it such that the recording of the music can be, if you configure everything correctly, not included in the recording. So they have to catch you live, but they can and do catch you occasionally. I've done plenty. But yeah, the long and short of it is, technically, I could set up a separate audio stream for music and it wouldn't be captured in the VOD. But realistically, that's not a great experience, and I can't set it up to work with... that. Like, in theory, it would be possible, but it would require essentially adding code to the mod that would add support. What was that? Oh, it's the house. Okay. I would need to add code to the mod that would change where it routes the sound. It is so nice being this close to home. I do wonder what he's going to do. I mean, there was an implication at one point that we were going to have to, like, do maintenance on this car. That could be what he does. He could just make it more expensive to run this car. Oil changes, headlights, windshield. Auxiliary shaft sprockets, gear pedals, camshaft, crankshaft. Oh, I actually do need that. Unfortunately, I can't build my motor because I'm missing, like, a specific part. And it sucks. I'm just glad that I have unlocked the magic of warm garage. So, Bren, what do you think he should do? How would he nerf this car? You know, the worst part is, I'm sure somebody out there has a save where they just have like 4 dozen thermostat covers. I'm buying thousands of dollars of parts that I don't need just for one. Huh. That's a weird thing I've noticed. Toby Radio occasionally just stops working. Alright, I got another post order. And I've driven around enough to justify buying fuel. One of these days, I am just gonna get creamed by cross traffic there. Just one? Okay. Okay, I can afford to put another 50 in. I just wasn't sure, you know, how far 50 was going to get me there. Because, yeah, I've seen that price go all the way up to, like, $9, so... a bit painful. Hello, Ewo. Don't worry, I'm driving safely. Nothing concerning is about my driving. What are some things that I host in my... Okay, I have my website, Plex, pile of Minecraft servers, Hightail server, my own GitForge, what else do I host? I have a license, I have a lifetime license to Plex. When I got it, Jellyfin wasn't a good competitor yet. So I use what I have already, and it's fully licensed, and I don't really need to care. It works. That being said, I've played around with Jellyfin. I have no complaints with it. I just also have Plex, so I might as well use it, right? Until Plex does something to push me away, right? And to be fair, Jellyfin is fantastic. I ran both for a period of time.
Samat tyypit jutteli sulassovusta.
Oh, you know what? Hang on. Honestly, just whatever I'm doing at the time. If I want to host a server for some game, or yeah, just whatever. It's also my router. It's also my just everything. I file gel. I have Nextcloud. I just have stuff. If you look at my NixOS config under services, you'll find 90% of it. Minecraft is technically separate. You would do Nextcloud, storage is expensive? Wait for a sale on cheap storage. Find a cheap hard drive. Of course they are. That being said, this is where I'm going to be calling it for the night. So you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Ewo, SSD are not negotiable? Absolutely not. No, you're entirely wrong. Hard drives all day long. They can be on USB. It is fine. They do not care about your throughput. Unless you're trying to serve like 20 people. You're not going to see any difference, hard drive versus SSD for Plexi Jellyfin, or for Nextcloud. 4K 60 HDR, you can probably do like 5 or 6 clients on a hard drive with that. It's fine. You're massively overestimating how much bandwidth you need. You're so fine. And anyway, yeah, thank you for the follow. I'll see you guys tomorrow probably. And Evo, you are massively overestimating. Won't it buffer a lot? No. Not unless you got a lot of people doing that at the same time, no. Trust me, I've experimented with this. My Plex server, right this second, pulls media from a hard drive that is over USB, right? It is a USB 6 terabyte hard drive. It is fine. And Sarah Groff, welcome to the stream. Unfortunately, it caught me in the end. I'm doing pretty good. But I will, I'll see you tomorrow, probably. And have a good night. When RAM prices go down, maybe storage prices will go down and be able to get a hard drive. Honestly, if you go on eBay, little secret, they're cheap. You can get, if you're willing to go used, which for media storage, honestly, go for it. Nextcloud less so, but for just like, you know, your legally acquired copies of DVDs and such, if you want, yeah. But for your legally acquired, you know, dumped yourself from the DVDs you own and your Blu-rays you own. How long have you been playing this game in general? I have been playing Okay, so my winter car, I have put 45 hours in. My summer car, I've put just shy of 500 hours in. I've also written mods for both games. You can find them on Nexus Mods. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Keep getting distracted. Come back tomorrow a couple hours ago, and I should be live. Have a great night.